welcome to the month of December. And let's get right into today's price action and review and trade review. So good afternoon, everyone. Futures Brizio here. It is 2:47 p.m. on Tuesday, December 2nd. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody had a good, for those of you in the U.S., celebrate Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great second half of the week next week. I haven't made a video, obviously, in several days because I really didn't trade. I think I had a couple of trades about a week ago on Tuesday, but that was it. Didn't trade the rest of the week because of the holiday. I took 2 trades yesterday, ended up down like $24 on the day. So it was a negative day, but essentially a break-even day. Today I took 2 more trades, a little bit better today. So we'll just jump right in, do a quick review where we're at here, just technicals, chart setups here, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so before we get started, as always, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I really appreciate it. And we'll just jump right in. So we'll start on soybeans because that's what I got up here. I did take 1 short today on soybeans. I was fooling around with TradingView, trying to figure out how to get it to show my trade levels. And I guess this is it. If anybody out there is a TradingView expert and you have a better way, I even looked for an indicator. Couldn't really find anything. So, but I did find this in the settings. And this just, I guess, shows you where you got out. When it doesn't show your profit or loss, but obviously you can just see it. So this is the short I took on soybeans today, right here. This red arrow is where I got in at 9:58 a.m. this morning at 11:29, and I got out just a little while ago, about 40 minutes ago at 11:25.2. So that was my trade for today. That was about $250. It was 1 contract, so pretty good. It's still going down, but the market here is actually closed now, so that there's no more price action. You can see the market is closed. This little gray dot right here, that would be green if the market were still open. So we're closed for the day. Anyways, I closed it out before the market closed for the day. So so basically you can see we're trending down. I basically just peeked out on the 4-hour chart this morning, and we can see we had this challenge of this previous structure level. We kind of drifted back up here, and then we went down. Then we failed to put in a new high here during the London session. This was the London session right in here. I'm looking on the 4-hour chart. You can see we failed to put in a new high. So then when we came to the New York session, here's that area. This is like 3-4 a.m. So this is all London pre-market session, whatever you want to call it. And we failed to put in a new high, take out a swing here. So when I came to the chart, this is the trade that I took right here. I had a little bit of drawdown. If you look on the 15-minute chart, we had 1 candle where it pulled back, but then it went down the rest of the session. And like I said, I just got out here. So anyways, kind of expecting to see some lower pricing here. Now, we do have this kind of support zone right through here. Price is now bounced off this area a couple of times, and we've got a little bit more of an area down here. But I think if we continue to come down and we can take out these couple of lows like this area right here and certainly this one here, I think there's more downside potential here in soybeans. And so we'll see what happens. But that was the trade for today. It was a quick short, and that was it. Rice. So here we are on rice. And let's go to the shorter time frame. As you can see, we've actually back to the longer time frame. We've been continuing to move lower here, but you can see we're struggling to go, below this low. We did have this little consolidation period that went on for a while, and then we did break lower. So we technically did continue the downtrend here. And so, again, you can't really ignore that. But I was looking at these two levels here, and this was a higher low that was put in yesterday around midday. You can see we had this price pullback, came down here, tried to go lower here, and then pull back again. And then we kind of held this area right here. So we're kind of holding between these two zones here. This is the larger swing high on the 4-hour. Then we've got this little shorter time frame zone here on the 30-minute. You can see we're just kind of chopping in between here. So I didn't feel comfortable going short because of this higher low that was put in yesterday. Although it would have been a decent trade today if you could short it from this internal swing high here on the 30-minute chart back down to yesterday's low here. Yesterday's swing low right here. But I just chose not to do it. So for now, I'm not doing anything with rice. As I've stated in previous videos, this thing has been going down for a long time now, and we are approaching not all-time lows, but very low on the chart. You can see I've zoomed way out on the weekly chart, and you can see we're into this range back here around $10. Now there are some more lows down here, all-time lows down around 930, but we're entering into that zone where you have to at least expect a bounce here, even if it's not a full-blown reversal. Somewhere between where it is now and maybe another 70 cents down, I would expect some kind of bounce and not to have this thing just completely blow through here because, in basically the history of this market, this area has been held for a long time, and we have to go back to, there are lows below here, but you have to go back to pre-2010, so more than 15 years ago, before you find any prices lower than like 930. But there are some previous lows back here, way back here in 2005, we were down around $6.50, and then back here in 2002, 23 years ago, at 356. So we certainly could go lower, but I would again expect at least to see some sort of bounce anywhere from about where price is now down to maybe the 930 area. And like I said, this is a weekly chart, so even a short bounce on this, could be a pretty substantial uptrend on a shorter time frame. But anyways, getting back to the current market is again back on the 1-hour chart. This is our recent low down here, and we're just kind of trading in between this zone right now. So not much going on there for me. So we'll just kind of stamp out. If I can see some sort of trend setting up where we start making higher lows here, then I would consider at least short-term longs. But if we break down from here and continue to move below this low, then we'll probably continue through here and make new lows. All right. But this is a pretty impulsive move off this zone. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is like, a breakout and then just 100% or near 100% retest and we start to go higher. But like I said, if we start putting in some higher lows, I'd probably consider at least short-term longs here. But if we take out this low, we probably will continue downward. So, all right, so on to soy oil. Soy oil actually did have a nice long setup here today. You can see we're putting in higher lows. This is the 1-hour chart. We did put in this swing low at 9 o'clock this morning, right around the market open. And we went up and we did tag yesterday's high up here. Actually, this is the pre-market high. This was at about 4 o'clock this morning. We wicked out here during the pre-market, and we tried to come back up here and didn't quite get through there. So, what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to fail and start going lower? Well, maybe, but, we would have to take out a swing low like this low here, or see some sort of, if we come down even here, let's say, we come down, put in a low here and then, come back up. and then fail to break this high again, like this high, then, potentially that could mean a move down. So it'll be curious to see like what happens during London or the pre-market tomorrow, whether we put in a lower high here, or if we come back up. If we take out this high, then we're probably going to continue higher. But you can see all these other times when it's broken structure. Like we had this structure, it took it out. We had this swing low, it took it out. We had this swing low, it took it out. Then we had this swing low, and we did not take it out. So that's always something just to be aware of, that if the sellers come back in here and fail to let it go higher, it's at least, a little bit of a warning sign. And you can see that also is sitting up here at this previous swing high that was put in a couple of weeks ago, back here on November 19th. We put in this high. So, is this just a resistance area that we're eventually going to break through, or is this a retest and we're going to start going lower? So I think tomorrow will be an important day in soybean meal to figure out whether, this is just a little resistance that it hit and then eventually it will break higher, or whether we're going to put in, like I said, a lower high and then break lower. If we do that, then I fully expect this low to be taken out pretty easily. So, all right, so that's that. Canadian dollar, just switching gears here, is starting to make some potentially swing highs here. Now we do have a kind of a trend line here we can clearly see. And so now that we're at the trend line, let's see what happens. Get rid of this rogue arrow right here. So we're sitting at this trend line now. So let's see if we can clear that. On the 4-hour chart, it does look like we're putting in higher highs here. I would call this like a swing. This is our current swing low right now. If this goes up and ends up taking out, this high right here, then this would become our new swing low. We just move this line up here, but we don't have that yet. What am I looking for? I look at the in-between swing on these trend line breaks. So if I'm looking like price to potentially go higher, I'm looking for like this high to be taken out, because trend lines are very easily manipulated, and so everybody sees them. So this is really our structure right here. So any break above here would probably continue our uptrend. So even though we might breach this trend line, and the market is still open here, but even if we breach this trend line, until it takes out this in between swing high, then I don't consider that a resumption of the uptrend. But I mean, here on the 4-hour chart, it is looking pretty bullish. And so if I had to place a bet, I would say prices will go higher. But certainly I would expect a reaction off this zone when price comes up here, pulls back. If it just pulls back a little bit, just kind of drifts lower, that would be a very good sign of just, weak selling action or profit taking at this level, and then see it go higher. But this to me, like I said, is the key level. So again, we'll see what happens with this during the overnight and early tomorrow, whether, this to me is setting up to for higher prices, or if we're either going to fail off the trend line or just continue to walk down the trend line. But as long as this area down here holds, the uptrend is technically still intact. Okay, the other trade I took today was soybean meal, and you can see it here. And you can see very simple setup. We're trending down here. This was last week's price action before the holiday break. And then we put in this swing high right here. It's kind of minor here on the 4-hour chart, but you can see it during the overnight pre-market session. We'll just go down the 1 hour. You can see this pullback right here. And as soon as I saw this bearish candle painting, I jumped in, and you can see, so I got in at right around the same time I took the soybean trade. Yeah, 10 o'clock this morning, right on the buzzer at 314.5. And I got out again, same time at 206 at 312. So it was a quick trade again, but all in all, I made about $450 on the day. It was two contracts total. but it was about $450 on the day. All right, so that was it for the trades. But in terms of price action here, you can see soybean meal is sitting right at this low right here. This was the last major swing that led up to this new high. I mean, I guess you consider this a swing here because this led to a high, but that was breached a long time ago. So now we have this area right here, right where price is sitting right now. And so naturally, we expect to see a reaction off of this area. It's just a question of what price does. So, I would say this is our, well, I'm going to move this down. So this becomes our new swing right here. This guy here, let's move this. It's easier just to get a new one than to try to move it. But so I expect to see some kind of, bounce off of this 4-hour zone here. But as long as this area holds, any kind of pullback here would be another potential sell opportunity. And if that happens, I expect that it will break through this support level pretty easily. So let's see what happens. Some kind of pullback here during the overnight session or early tomorrow. And if I see a potential lower high setting up, then I would consider shorting this again. And again, if it does get through there, we don't really have a lot of real clear areas here where price could bounce from. So I would expect a further decline in this market. So this is one I'll be watching. To me, this one has the most short potential in terms of, sustained good trades here. This is the one I really like the most. So I'll be watching this one closely. Corn did go higher today. I did not trade anything with corn. The issue is that we had this huge gap this was basically the market essentially was closed on Thursday because it was Thanksgiving. So this was basically your closing candle on last Wednesday, the 25th, and then this was the opening candle on Friday. The market opened Friday. This all in between here was Thanksgiving, and so we made this huge gap on the chart. And so because of that, really wasn't interested in trading this lower or higher. It did, kind of make a weak attempt down into the gap and then did make a new high today. So, but whenever I see these huge gaps, I always worry, concerned that eventually price will come down and fill in this gap. It doesn't always do that. People say, oh, it always fills the gap. Well, it doesn't always do it. Yeah, sometime in the future, it will fill this gap. 2 years from now, price could come down and go lower than this. That doesn't mean it filled an old gap. To me, filling a gap means it has to happen pretty soon, probably within a week or two at most. Other than that, it becomes old news on the chart, and that's it. So we'll see what happens with this. If it just ignores this gap and it keeps forming higher lows, higher highs, then fine. Then I'll look for longs. But because of this gap, I really didn't have any interest in trading this. This was a trade, technically a long trade right here. Here it is on the 30-minute chart, pulled back into this gap, and then we had this big bullish candle. But even then, it didn't really go that far. So I didn't take anything, and I don't feel like I missed anything. It didn't really do a lot, even though it did go up and make a new high. So, all right, so that's corn. We'll see what happens if it just ignores this gap and it keeps, like I said, forming higher highs, higher lows, then fine. We'll look to be long. If this fails and we start putting in lower highs and, start trending down, then I would be, suspecting that they may go down and try to fill this gap at the minimum. So, let's see what happens with corn. And lastly, hogs, which I'm not really trading, but you can see I've drawn on the chart here. It does look like, even though this tried to go higher right here, this is a potential lower high put in here. And price really didn't do much today, kind of just drifted around. You can see pretty much the whole day, it stayed inside a very, very narrow range. So there was no trade here. Anyways, But basically, these are kind of the structure levels I'm looking at here and here. If price, pulls back, uh, and just as long as it doesn't clear, well, I guess really you have to say the upper boundary of this. If it goes up and clears this, then prices are going to go higher. But if this area holds and we put in again a swing high, then we could potentially see prices continue to the downside here, which would continue the downtrend that we started. This is the 4-hour chart. We did have this big swing high that put in this new low. So, from even just like a Fibonacci standpoint, if you like that stuff, we hit the 70% fib level right here. And so, just based on the little bit longer time frame, the 4-hour, I would say this probably still is in a downtrend. Like I said, our kind of line in the sand is, this area or more likely this area. We come up here and we take out this high, then fine, then we're going higher. If this general area holds and we put in like a swing high and start moving lower, then I think we have significant downside potential, at least back to these previous lows. So I'll be looking, but there was nothing to do with this asset today. You can see it did absolutely nothing. It just moved sideways all day. And so I would need quite a bit more information before I would think about trading this either way. So, all right. So anyways, like I said, the soy complex is really my interest right now, and potentially Canadian dollar if we can take out this structure level. But corn and rice and hogs are not too interesting to me at the moment. But of course, I look at everything. So, all right. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hope that was helpful. Again, make sure you smash that like button on your way out. Questions or comments, leave them down below. And subscribe to the channel if you're just finding it for the first time. Really appreciate it. If there's any topics, anything you want me to cover or questions, feel free. Don't really get many comments, unfortunately. I guess my content sucks. That's okay. I'm not on YouTube to make money on my YouTube channel, clearly. I'm just sharing my own thoughts. So, but if there is any questions or comments you have, anything you want me to cover, feel free. These are the only markets I trade. But I'm happy to look at other stuff. But I've kind of, homed in on these, and this is really what I stick with right now. So, all right. So I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a good rest of the night, and I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video. All right, guys, take care. Talk soon.